Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and I approach this puzzle with the greatest trepidation possible. There is a reason we're doing this, actually. Today, I believe, I have been told that today will be the release of the final update on Domino Sudoku. Now, we managed to run into a kind of dearth of puzzles for that, and Skunkworks stepped in and helped us out at our request, which was incredibly good of them. Within 2 weeks, 10 or 11 of them had prepared puzzles, and those will be in the app, and they're brilliant. These guys from Skunkworks are just some of the most amazing setters. Now, they told us that Zegresh's puzzle was the best by popular vote. When I was testing them, I found that the puzzle that I thought was the best, not the hardest at all, but certainly the most beautiful in my mind, was by Crusader 175. And that is why I'm doing a different puzzle by Crusader 175 today. But I say that the one in the app, in the Line Sudoku app, is not the hardest. This one might be. This came from a tester who used the phrase really, really hard. That's 2 reallys, just to check the maths there. So who knows how long this will take. I don't often attempt puzzles that come with that kind of a review, but I do like Crusader 175's puzzle, formerly known as Alaric Tachyorensa, a brilliant constructor from way back in the channel's history. And I'm really looking forward to giving it a go, if I'm honest. I really am. So anyway, on the channel, or around the channel, that Line Sudoku app has, I hope, been updated at this point. Check tomorrow if it hasn't yet. And there are all our other apps available for purchase. Do check them out. The gas apps have 60 puzzles, but all the others now have 100 puzzles. And then, of course, on Patreon, well, today, a new post of the Times Monthly Club Special Cryptic, which I solved a couple of days ago, and I say solved. You can look at my attempt to solve it if you are a Patreon. That is on the Patreon channel as well, where also, of course, we are still about halfway through the Tennis Anyone Challenge Sudoku hunt with 6 different puzzles, obviously like a set of tennis, 6 of them, and a meta, just as a sort of tie break, I guess. Anyway, that is available on Patreon. Loads of stuff always going on those 2 things. Then there's also the Discord server, the catalogue of our puzzles, and our merchandise and Sven SUDOKU PAD on the links under the video. Now, the first link is to a tiny URL version of this puzzle, and I really hope you can play that, because I can't set this up in our software with black circles and white writing on those. So I'm using Crusader 175's version, which was a tiny URL feed. Apparently it has the answer check built in for some of the puzzle. I'll explain that when I do the rules in a second. I don't know what to do if you can't play that. Maybe I will set up a version with some different colours. But if you can possibly play the tiny URL version, that is the thing to do. Anyway, enough waffle. Click on that first link, assuming you can. I think 95% of people can use the tiny URL links to play in our software. Lux Umbra, which means, I think it means light shade, or maybe light of shade. I'm not sure if Umbra is only nominative or could also be genitive. I doubt it. I think it means light and shade. And that makes sense for white and black circles. And I'm going to read the rules now, finally. Normal Sudoku rules apply for the 9x9 grid. So in this 9x9 grid, we're going to put the numbers 1 to 9 in every row, column, and box. And I'm ignoring the outside the perimeter cells for those purposes. And they're also ignored for the answer check. You can put anything you like in them or nothing, and the answer check won't care. Now, numbered rooms. All cells outside the grid are numbered rooms clues to be determined by the solver. They indicate the digit which has to be placed in the nth cell in the corresponding direction, where n is the digit placed in the first cell in that direction. So let's just take it here. We'll have a 5 and a 6. This means that 5 gets placed in the 6th cell in this direction. So if we count along, that becomes a 5. So that's what these clues mean. That digit is going to get placed in the room that is numbered that as you look down this corridor. That's basically how I think numbered rooms works as an idea. Now, quadruples, so the white and the black discs. Digits in a white circle must appear at least once as a Sudoku digit or as a numbered room clue in the 4 cells around the circle. So there is a 9 somewhere in those, there is a 4, a 5 and a 6 somewhere in those. I guess in these there could be 2 of one of those digits. And that's how the white cell clues. But the black circles, that's how the white circle clues work. The black circles are anti-quadruples, in which digits in a black circle must not appear as a Sudoku digit or a numbered room clue in the 4 cells around the circle. So 2 cannot be in those cells, 5 and 9 can't be in those cells. So intriguing. I mean, I can see why this is going to be difficult, because these quadruple clues are not extensive, the white ones, and the black ones don't remove lots of possibilities, would be my assumption. But there we go. This is nonetheless a genuine Sudoku that can be solved, and I am going to have a go now. And you can judge from the video length how hard it is and whether you decide to attempt it, but I am going to start now. Let's get cracking. So, what can we possibly do? Right, we can possibly start in box 3. Yes. Okay, this is clear actually. 4 and 6 must go in this box in those 4 cells, because that's what this white disk means. Now that means 4 and 6 can't go by Sudoku rules in the same box in these cells, but these 4 need a 4 and a 6, and they've got to be there. And there's a 5 in one of these 2, and we know which one, because now the black disk comes into play. You're not allowed 5 in any of those cells, so the 5 in these cells is now here. And that, now the numbered room aspect of this means that this 4 or 6 appears in room 5 along here, which is there. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Now we get a kind of a path forming. Because my next question is, where does that 4 or 6 appear around this disk? Yeah, this is going to be necessary anyway. I'm going to colour it. I'm going to colour it... what colour shall I give it? I'm going to give it purple, and that can be green, and that can be purple. Right, where does purple appear around this? Because it must be there somewhere, because both 4 and 6 are. Well, it's not allowed to be in those cells by Sudoku rules, so it goes there. Yes, and this works again here. Where does it go around this disk? And it can't be in either of those because they're in the same column as that, and it can't be there, it's in the same box as that. So we are tracing this purple cell all around the grid. Oh, we've got the whole same setup here, haven't we? So 4 and 6 are in that 2 by 2, therefore they're not in this domino, therefore they are over here. Hopefully in a moment I'm going to colour one of them purple. Again, 5 can't be here because of this very symmetrical 5-9 black disc, so it must be there. And that means this digit is appearing here, and that is the other colour, so that is green. This colouring was a genius idea. That's green. This must be purple. Not, actually, it's worth bearing in mind, not because numbered room clues have to be different. These could actually, or these 2 could be exactly the same digit. The reason these 2 can't is because we have to put each of 4, 5 and 6 into this 2 by 2. Anyway, that purple, well, I don't know. Well, okay, maybe I do know something about where it appears in this row. All I know is it can't be in that box because purple's already in there. It can't be in this cell because that would be a numbered room clue of 1, and you wouldn't then have a 1 in that cell. So it is in one of these. And therefore this digit, this N numbered room, is 2, 3, 7, 8 or 9. It's not allowed to be 9 because of this black disc. So purple appears somewhere in those cells. No, it absolutely doesn't. Purple can't be in these cells because purple and green have to be around here. So actually, let's mark that up with some halved colouring. Yeah, purple can't be in these two cells, so that's not 2 or 3. That is a 7 or 8. Purple is now in one of these two. There must be something equivalent up here. Yes, purple is in one of those. Oh, I've got this completely wrong, haven't I? I've said that was green and that was purple. That is the wrong way round. I do apologise. The digit that puts itself there is that colour. Right, sorry about that. Anyway, that doesn't affect that. Purple is in one of those two cells. Now, there must be something I can do with green up here. Or maybe there isn't. Why can I do something with purple down here? Ah, right. Can I work on this cell again? Yes. Right, now, what can this be? Where is... Oh, no. What I haven't done is bring this green up the grid. Green has to be around that circle. Then it has to be around this circle. There we go. That's getting more entertaining. Now, green can't be in those cells. So this digit, well, I mean, in theory, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, or 9, because it can't be a 4, 5, or 6 as its numbered room. But it can't be 1, because that would put green 4 or 6 into the same cell as 1. It can't be 2 or 3, because green has to be in one of those around this clue. So it is 7, 8, or 9. Why couldn't that be... Oh, it can't be 9 because of the black disc. So again, it's 7 or 8. There is a vast degree of symmetry so far in this puzzle. That is an X-wing on greens. So that uses up the 2 greens for columns 2 and 3. And green in column 1 is somewhere here. Got 2 digits in the grid after just 5 minutes. Not unhappy with that in this puzzle. Now, green in the bottom row has to be in one of these 3. What's green, 4 or 6? It's not ruled out or into any of them. But we don't get the X... Oh, we get the X-wing on purples over here. So purple is in one of those 2 in column 9. And one of these 3 is purple. And again, not ruled out up there. Okay. So far, so symmetrical. What on earth are we meant to do next? I mean, I'm not unhappy with how we've been proceeding so far. It seems to make a lot of sense. 3 in the middle box is not allowed to be on one of the black discs, so it's in one of those cells. That qualifies as useless information. Now, what if this was... this is a 7 or an 8. Now, if that was an 8... if that was an 8, 8 in this box has to be here. None of these cells can be 3 or 8. Okay, that's lovely. That is a lovely, lovely setup. Right. Okay, this is absolutely vital. None of these cells can be 3 or 8 in box 9 because of the black discs. So 3 and 8 must go in these 3 cells. But what else goes in these 3 cells? Purple has to be in one of these 2. So that's 3 or 8. This involves 3 or 8 and purple, which is 4 or 6. And this is green, because green now can't go in there, because only purple and the other one of 3 or 8 are... Oh, hang on. Is this confused? If that was 8, that would be 8. This would be 3 and purple. Yeah, no, it's still right. This is green. And is green 4 or 6. Now, that must work at the top as well, I think. Oh, no, these are different numbers. Okay, it's going to work in a different way. These are not allowed to be 1 or 7. So these are 1, 7, and green, aren't they? They are. Green is 4 or 6. So this cell is purple, because it can't be in there anymore. green is in there. So this cell is purple and is 4 or 6. And actually we've got a 1, 4, 6, 7 quad. So 5 in this box is in one of those two. Giving us a 5 somewhere there. We've got 3, 4, 6, 8 down here. So 5 again is in one of those. We haven't got more digits out of this, but we have got more understanding of the puzzle out of it. Now, numbered rooms. Haven't been thinking about that for a little while. And we've got things going on around the perimeter. So that purple is either in 7 or 8. Now, if that was an 8, this would be purple. And that would be 3. Can't see a reason why not. Okay, and we've done that row. We've done this row. This one seems to have the same establishment as the bottom row. So let's look at the downs. A 2, right, there was this white circle. 2 and 9 go in there. And look, we've got another one of those here. 2 and 9 are there. So one of those is getting placed in the 3rd, 4th, 6th or 8th cell. I don't know about that. One of them, though, is getting placed in the 4th or 6th cell. So there's either a 2 or a 9 in one of those. I don't know how to pencil mark that, which is annoying. Now, 2 and 9 up here. It's the same deal, really. One of them, I don't think this can be a 1, because then digit 1, well, that cell itself would have to be a 2 or a 9, which it can't be. That is not symmetrical over here. That's interesting. That's the first kind of very slight break in the sort of symmetry things we've been looking at. 4, 6, and 7. This one is placed in one of those cells, this 2 or 9. Now, what else have we got? We've got a cell down here. This digit is going to be placed in 7 or 8. Ah, we've got this as well. I was going to say it can't be a 1, because that's what we keep finding everywhere else. You can't have a 1 in the perimeter, but you could have a 1 in the perimeter. If that was a 1, this could be a 1, which is very annoying, actually. Otherwise, this is going to be a 7, and that's going to be this, but that could be anything. That 1... Oh no, if that's a 7, this is an 8. Is that interesting? Then this would be an 8. This would be a 7. This kind of feeds round the grid a bit. It doesn't really do anything though, does it? If that was a 7, sure, we get a 7 in one of those cells, but it's all based on a postulation of this being a 7. I don't know. I can't see anything there. The one thing I didn't look at was this, but that is just saying that whatever this is, not 5 or 9, is in one of those cells. And that's, I mean, since it could be there, it wouldn't have to be 5 or 9. Gosh, I don't know. What on earth do you do next? Okay, in this bottom row, 9 can't be on the black discs there. Yeah, that's different from up here. But anyway, it can't. So 9 is in one of those cells, which doesn't look a lot of use. This, well, it can't be a 5 at all. No, that's not interesting. 7 is in one of these. See, 9 could be there. If 9 was there, this would be a 7, and that would be a 9. I don't know. I mean, there's nothing to go on in this puzzle. Right, this was the thing I couldn't pencil mark. That is putting this digit in one of those two cells. Oh, and this is putting that digit in one of these two. Yes, okay, that's interesting. These are different numbers. One of them is a 4 and one of them is a 6. We know they're different numbers because of the colouring we've done. Right, so let's assume purple is a 4. Then this cell is putting that number there. And then green is a 6 and that number is going there. And can't be the same. They can't both be 2s or both be 9s. And if purple is a 6, this number goes there, then green is a 4 and this number goes there. And again, these two cornery things have to be different. So we're coming up with some new colours. We're orange and blue for these. And this is different from that. That's what we worked out. Okay, so this blue is either there or there. And this orange is either there or there. And what good does that do anybody? Well, okay, I mean, the other thing we can say is that either in those cells or in these cells, there is a 2-9 pair. But I don't know how we use that. I really don't. I can't even properly pencil mark it. It's just a conclusion I'm going to have to note. Now, is there some reason that can't be a green-purple pair? No, there isn't. Gosh, just stuck here. Now, if this was an 8, this is a 3, 4, 6 set. Whatever's in here, I haven't really thought about that, goes in one of those two, but it could be anything. Okay, somewhere around here there's a 7. If it's here, we get 7 in one of those cells. If it's here, this determines where 7 goes in this row. And if it's here, it at least fixes the 2-9 pair. Now, I don't know, that's not really giving me anything. So, if this is a 7, okay, that's interesting, because that makes this green. Because if that can... Yeah, this is where the symmetry broke, isn't it? We couldn't eliminate either 3 or 4 there, but either 3 or 8 there, but we could eliminate 1 from here. So, if this is a 7, that's green, and is 4 or 6. I don't know, why not? If that was green, this would be green. Blue, okay, if that was 4 or 6, one of these would be blue and would be matched up against one of those, but since green would be the same, that would be fine. Yeah, I don't see what's going on. If that was 8, well, now this doesn't have to be purple. I don't see why it's interesting if it is purple, to be honest. Oh, if this is 7, that has to be 3 or 8 to give this. If this is 8, that is whatever this is. I don't know, that's not interesting. It doesn't do anything for me. Where am I meant to be looking next? I really don't have a Scooby, do I? Oh, I said Scooby-Doo there. No, I don't know what's going on. 4, 6, 7. But possibly 1 in this group. Haven't managed to sort out these partial greens and purples because the other greens and purples in columns 2, 3, 7, 8, they're just not resolved. You can see why this is coming as extremely hard. I just can't imagine where the next clue to do anything comes from, because we've used vast numbers of the white clues and the black ones do almost nothing. This is so bizarre. How are we meant to do this? Okay, blue in this column goes here, here, or here. I just cannot see how that's interesting. It's sort of a fact, and it's one of the more limited facts we've got, but it doesn't resolve anything. This one, if that was 4 or 6, orange is in one of those cells, and orange is therefore an X-wing with that. I don't know if that does anything. It doesn't feel like it does. My goodness, I don't know what's going on here. Right, what could that be? That is the digit either here or here. I don't know. Okay, these are from 2, 3, 8 and 9 because they can't be from this 1, 4, 6, 7 quad or the 5 that we've put in there. Down here, these are from 1, 2, 3, not 3, 1, 2, 7, 9. Those are the possibilities. I want to say that can't be a 1, but again, it could be if this was a 1. Purple goes into one of these cells. What's that doing? It's not doing anything. If this is a 7, this is an 8, then this is an 8 and this is a 7. Now, what does that do? Does that... If this is a 7, that is green in the top row. Then this is not green, that's green, and is 4 or 6. So if this is an 8, making that a 7, then this has to be green. But if it's a 3, it could be anything from 1, 2, 5, 7 or 9. I don't know what that's proving. It doesn't seem to be proving anything. Sorry, I'm getting a bit desperate here because I just don't know what's going on. I can't see any way to do anything. As I keep making abundantly clear by my faffing around, talking randomly and not achieving anything. 9, 5, 3, 4, 6, 8. Okay, where do I look, guys? What is it I'm not seeing? Is it something very obvious? It must be some consequence of doing something that has an effect. Must be. But what? What is going on? Oh, it's simple. Right, I'm sorry. This is almost obvious now. It's weird when a puzzle like that gives you something like this. I don't know. Okay, I'm looking at those. Have a look and think and see if you can see what they're telling me that I didn't see. Okay, if this is a 7, that's the problem. And it's a problem because this goes blue and is 2 or 9. The point about blue is it's not green. but 7 is also not green. So the two greens in this X-wing would both have to be in column 3, and that's simply not allowed. So if this was a 7, that's not green, and these are both green, and that's impossible. So this is not a 7. There you go. I mean, is this, I don't know yet, I haven't even thought yet, is this transferable down here? We will have a look in a moment. It probably isn't, because that was all about this having to be a 7, wasn't it? But anyway, those are not green. This one now is, and is 4 or 6. Now, has that done anything? Yes, it stopped this being 4 or 6. That doesn't do anything either. We've got a 1-7 pair, but I don't know what that means. Green, still indefinitely one of those. Okay, let's look down here. I don't think it's going to work, but if this was 8, that would be orange. It doesn't work at all. It doesn't even work as an 8. It only works because that was a 7 and we'd got 1 out. There is no problem, I think, between these. That's so weird. So I can do that green over here, but I can't do it over here. Now, surely then that's going to give me something else round here, but it's hard to know what. Is there anything I can do with this? If that is a 3, that's orange, 2 or 9. That would have to be a 5. And 3 would be non-purple. So that would be purple. And that would be purple. And that doesn't mean anything. If that was 4, this would be orange. It's not even interesting. If that was 8, this would be orange, so that would be green, but that's fine to be green. Oh, okay, that didn't do anything else. I'd literally have to resign myself to the fact that it didn't do anything else and start weeping about it. This is so strange. I was so pleased with this deduction. It hasn't done... Oh, it puts blue in one of those 2 cells. And that actually matches a blue in one of those 2. That's an X-wing on blue, and blue is in one of those 3. I mean, that doesn't... Blue is 2 or 9, so I don't see what that resolves, but still. Worth thinking about generally. But now I have to find something totally different. Right, let's think about 9 around here, because I've thought a little about it, but basically if 9's in one of those, I haven't really come up with anything. If 9 is there, if this couldn't be a 1 then, if 9 is there, this would be a 7, and 9 would be here. And that would be purple, and that would be purple, and this would be 3 or 8. Putting orange in one of those cells. I don't see the problem. So 9-7 seems to work there. Although, does that do anything else? Oh, well, 9-7 there makes that an 8. Which is looking at that cell and saying this would have to be 2 or 3. Because it's not allowed to be 9. Oh, there are some ramifications. Okay, let's think about this a bit further. If that is 7... No, let's start with, if this is 9, that's 7. Yes, you get a 9 there, but you also get 8 here. And that pushes 8 here. And now, because this has become purple, this is purple and is 4 or 6, and this is a 3. And that means orange would have to be here. I can trace that far in my brain. That would be a 5. This would be orange 2 or 9. But I don't see why there's a problem. It's really got quite complicated at this point. I mean, I do see this. If this is a 9, that's a 7. That's an 8. This is an 8. That's a 7. I hadn't... Oh! Wow, interesting. If this is an 8, this is a 7, and this cell is definitely an 8 then, because it's looking at numbered room 7, and it's sitting there already if that's an 8. This can't be a 7. Oh, of course, we got green there. This becomes an 8. How is that 5 minutes not spotting that? This digit green has to go in this numbered room, and we've discovered where it is, and I didn't write it in. Okay, that is an 8. This is now 1, 2, or 7, because it's looking down at this. Much more importantly, this is now a 3 by Sudoku. That means there's not a 3 here. This is a 4, 6, 8 triple, and that is a 7. And purple, that purple is now in room 7, is there, and is 4 or 6. And this is an 8. And that 8 is putting orange here, and orange is not green, because 2 and 9 are not 4 or 6. So green is there, and in one of these two now. Orange is... Okay, orange is not here, and it's not here because it's not 1 or 7. Orange is in one of these two, along with 5. Orange and 5 sharing cells, sharing a pair of cells. 8, 3, 4, 6. So, I don't know, that doesn't seem to work with blue in the same way. Never mind. Oh, this is purple, so that's not. This is purple. And our 4, 6 pair are there, and this is 2 or 9. Now, things have happened. There's a 2, 3, 8, 9 quad, and this is a 1, 7 pair. Things have happened. Can more things please happen? Right, if this is a 9 now, let's go back to thinking about that again. This is a 7, and that's a 9, and this is a 2, 5 pair. And that's a 2. Orange becomes 2 at that point. Looks like it can be. Okay, what numbered rooms? This thing I've done, that is saying that this cell is the same as that. We have to have a 7 around this somewhere. So either that is a 7 or one of these is. I still don't know what to do with that info. This is a 7 looking at that. Oh, 7 is looking at that by Sudoku. That's a 1. This can't be a 9. In fact, this is a 1. That is the digit that has to be there. 9 is now in one of these two by this white disk that finally comes into play. Right, if 9 is there, well, this couldn't be a 4 because 9, okay, if 9 is here, oh, I don't know. Oh, bother. Thought that was going to give me something. Now, what else am I missing? Just straight Sudoku seems to be the thing that I end up missing in this puzzle. So maybe let's focus on that. There's a 1 in one of those two cells. And that must mean that the cell above it is a 1, whichever one of those is a 1. And that is not a 1. That has become a 7. That is ordinary Sudoku. So one of these two is a 7. 7 is not a coloured digit in this puzzle yet. 1, 8, 5. So we've got a 3 to place in one of those cells. That is 1, 2, or 7 looking at that. Now, this is not allowed to be 3 or 8. That digit is going in one of those. This digit is going there. I mean, I know a lot about where these digits go, but it doesn't tell me what they are at all, and they're so open-ended. Right, we've got 4, 6, 8, 7, and 5, 9 confined on the bottom row. So these are from 1, 2, or 3. Is that useful? No, not particularly. This is monstrously hard still. 2 can't be there. Can that be a 2? No, actually this can't be a 2. That's interesting. That's part of why 9 is in this black circle. If this was a 2, this cell would have to be the same as this. But by Sudoku that would have to be a 9, and that's not allowed here by the black circle. So that's not a 2. Neither of those are 2. The 2 in the top row is in one of those cells. And 2 is either orange or blue. The odds are quite good that it's orange at this point, just because orange needs to fit in one of those 3. And if there is an orange or blue in this box, it's in one of those. That's not at all conclusive. Right. 3, by the way, can't go here. 3 is in one of these 2 cells in row 3. Do I have any reason for thinking it's not here? If that was a 3, this would be 7. These would be a 1-9 pair. This would be 2. No, I do not know. Right, what else can we do? 5, 7, 2, 9. 7, 5, 4, 6, 3. That is 2, 8, or 9, just by virtue of everything it can see. Now, one of these pairs we discovered early on is a 2-9 pair based on these things. Now, how does that help? Not much, Mark. One of these pairs is a 2-9 pair. Doesn't seem to do anything. There's a 7 in one of these. I can see that. Can I take 3 out of here? No, because that could be purple. Then this would be 1. That doesn't stop this being 1 as well. 1, 2, 5, 9. We've got 3 in one of those cells. We said 8 still to place. No, 8's definitely in one of these 2 in this row. Could have seen that before. I did. Doesn't look wildly helpful. 8's in one of these 3 in column 7. I mean, I'm going to keep pencil marking just because something might pop out. 3, no. If 3 was definitely here, then it would be in one of these, but I can't see that for sure. Oh, goodness. What next? Please don't just be ordinary Sudoku and I can't see you, because that's so embarrassing. Greens and purples all over the place. 8s, 4s, 6s, 1s and 7s. Oh my goodness, this is exactly as hard as was billed. There's got to be a 9 in one of these 2. What's that doing? Does it limit this? This can't be a 4, but it could be a 6. Right, what if this is the 2-9 pair? That's worth thinking about. If that was 2, then that would break. This can't be a 2. Okay, this can't be a 2. Oh no, that's not, you see, that's too strong a conclusion. If this was a 2 and that was a 9, that puts 9 here. But this doesn't have to be the 2-9 pair. That could be 2-9. Oh no, it couldn't, because then that couldn't be 2 or 9. Right, this is not 2. Is that useful at all? It's not 2 because of this white circle requiring a 9 to be there, and a 2 here and a 9 here would prevent both that being a 2-9 pair and that being 2 or 9. But one of these pairs must be a 2-9 pair. That is complicated, but it is true, and this can't be a 2. I'm bothering to put in the remaining possibilities just because I think it's interesting that it can't be a 2. So if that's orange, orange is a 9. If orange is a 2, this is a 2. I'm wondering if I'm meant to have been able to conclude that 7 is there, which would stop that being a 2. And that would be very interesting, but I haven't reached any such conclusion or any part of such a conclusion. So I'm a bit scared about thinking that. Right, can this be 7? If this is 7, then this has to be the 2-9 pair. And then we know it goes 9 here, 2 here. And we get all of orange, blue, purple and green numbered. I don't see what that's doing for us at all. It's definitely interesting that one of these pairs across the grid is a 2-9 pair. That is definitely interesting. But it's just not enough. And it's very important to remember that that being a 2-9 pair doesn't necessarily rule out this also being a 2-9 pair that's just not referenced by these numbered rooms. This cell could be anything. I just don't know where to look in this puzzle. 3s in this column. That could be a 3, that could be a 3, and that could be a 3. Not interesting. Oh, Mark, just keep persevering and something will come to your mind. I mean, it's ridiculous how long it took me to spot those greens, for instance. So there could easily be something like that lurking around, just ready to give a clue. This is seeing 2, 3, 8 or 9 in its clue. Blue. Maybe these break for some reason. I just don't see it. Maybe it is this 7 thing. If 7 is there, 7 is here, and that's fine. It also means 7 is in one of those cells and one of those cells. So that's quite interesting if 7 is here. If 7 is here, what is this? Now, okay, maybe I should concentrate on this being 2, 9, and maybe that's impossible because we've got both outside clues. We don't in row 4. So what happens if this is 2, 9? That 2 potentially would be talking about that cell and putting this digit in that cell. This 9 would require this to be a 2. Okay, if this was a 9, this would have to be a 2. Well, no, let's start with, if this was the 2, 9 pair, with a 9 here, a 2 there, is necessary because there's a 2 over here in room 9. And then 7 would have to be here. So that's one possibility. The other possibility is a 2 over this side. And that makes this a 9, and that makes this a 2, and that is not so interesting. Okay, let's focus on this not being able to be a 2. If I could stop this being a 2, then the 2, 9 pair can't be here. So if the 2, 9 pair are this side, that's a 9, this is a 2. What's going on then? This would be a 2 outside the grid. Not interesting, but true. If this was the 9, 2 pair I'm talking about, it's because orange is 9, blue is 2, green is 6, purple is 4. Maybe there's... Right, I hadn't really thought about this way. But there's orange in one of those cells and there's blue in one of those cells. I have pencil marked that. What I hadn't quite appreciated before is that they must be in different rows because these are different versions of 4 and 6. So there's either a 9-2 pair there or there. Well, that's interesting. How does that play with the fact that there's a 9-2 pair there or there? Now, if there's a 9-2 pair there, this is 9 and that's 2, then we would have 2 in both, not necessarily. Yes, we would. If we had a 2 there, we can't have a 2-9 pair here. Ah, okay, I've at least now learned that there's only one 9-2 pair, because the other, like if that is 9 or 2, so is that. And that breaks up this being a 9-2 pair. And if this is 9 or 2, so is that. And that breaks up this being a 9-2 pair. So there is only one 9-2 pair across the grid in rows 4 or 6. It's little enough, but it's something that I didn't know before. Come on, what does it do though? I've got to keep thinking about this because there's nothing else going on in the puzzle. I mean, it's linear enough that it's got to be something to do with this, I think. 9 and 2, if it was there. No, if it was here, that's less likely, I think. If it was here. If the pair was here, so that would be based on a purple 6 and a green 4. So purple is 6 and green is 4. Does that do anything else? Not really. So the things outside, 2 and 9 here. So one of them definitely has a 2 outside, saying that the 9th room has got a 2 in. And there are so many possible things to dwell on, unfortunately. I find this, well, as you can see, extremely difficult because there's either an issue of there being a 7 in one of those cells, or of there being a 9 in one of those cells, or more likely that one of these pairs exactly is a 9-2 pair, or some combination of those things. These are really the only significant clues I have in the puzzle, which is just bizarre. Why can't I see anything? Come on. Something to do with purple and green as well, because one of these is green. Oh, if that was green, that would be 9. Oh, that's interesting. If this was green, that would be 9. Green would now have to be 6. You'd have 9, 6, 9 there. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. This is not green. Okay, I think this is right. If this was green, it would have to be 6 because you'd need a 9 here and you couldn't put a 9 there, so this couldn't be 4. That would have to be 6, and you would have a 9 here. And that breaks up, well obviously the 6 there breaks up that being a 9-2 pair. The 9-2 pair would have to be down here. And maybe what I'm going to say didn't work. Now I was thinking if that's a 6, oh, it doesn't work at all. This is a 4. Yeah, if this is a 6, this is a 4. And that is not getting to go in this cell, as it would have to. So this is not green. And it's not 4 or 6, therefore, because it's also not purple. So it's 3, 8 or 9. This is now definitely green, 4 or 6. This is not green. I've learned something. It took a little effort, but I learned something there. Now this, we've got a 4, 6 pair in the column, obviously. So everything else is from 2, 3, 8 or 9. Now to get back to thinking about the 2, 9 pair, which actually I'm beginning to think is probably there after all. If it was here, this would be a 9. And this would be 2. Can I do purple having done green there? Where is purple in this box? It's in one of those cells. That's not helpful. Can I rule this out from being purple? That would be symmetrically equivalent. If this was purple, maybe this works exactly the same way in some bizarre manner. No, it doesn't, because this doesn't have to be 7. If this was purple, yeah, that's the trouble. It can be purple. It can even be a 4. Okay, if this was purple, that couldn't be 4. Okay, at least this can't be 6. I can say that. Because, I mean, this is the tiniest possible conclusion. But if this was 6, that would be a 4, and blue would fail to get into the numbered room it's meant to. Now, can it be 4? Can this be 4? That is my next question for me. Can this be 4? Then purple would be 6, blue would be there. That 4 would require this to be green, which is possible, but it would make this a 7. That would put 7 here and 5 here. It's hard to find anything wrong with that, which is incredibly annoying. Right, one of these is 2 or 9. If that's a 9-2 pair, then that's a 2. 2, 9, 2. Now, that doesn't do any harm. Once you fill in a number there that's valid, it's totally uninteresting. It has no effect on anything else. But, okay, if that is 3 or 8, then 9 is here. Oh, that's quite interesting. Right, if 9 is not here, it's here in this row. That's really surprising. But if this is 3 or 8, this has to be 9. And that would mean that 9 would appear either in that cell or in that cell. Well, it can't appear in this cell, so that is not an 8. That is 3 or 9. Now, if it's a 3, 9's in that cell because it's in that cell because of the white disk, so it goes there. Otherwise, it's 9. So the only 2 places for 9 in the row are in those 2 cells. Which is quite interesting. This can't be 9. So if this is the 9-2 pair, this is 2. Well, I've known that for ages, actually. This is the 2. What did we get in the 2, 3, 8, 9 quad in the first column? Nothing. Nothing interesting. I don't think we did. Where's blue, though? Blue is either there or there in this column, being 2 or 9 and not in box 4. I don't see why that gives me any sort of a problem. Maybe I've got to go back to this foolish 7 and work out what's going on there. 7 in one of these cells. It was much more important, 9 being in one of these cells, than I realised. So if 7 had to be in one of these cells, if it's there, this is saying where 7 appears in the row. But all I know is 7 isn't in those or that. That's not a lot to know, is it? I suppose this couldn't be a 1. Oh, I just don't know. If this is a 9, it can't go here. So if blue is a 9, green is a 6. That's interesting. And that's blue. That does not work. That does not work. If blue is a 9, is that all I'm going to rule out? That it... Well, it doesn't work. Because you remember I said that orange and blue have to either be a pair there or a pair here. If that is a 9... No, this is great. If that is a 9, since this can't be a 9, because we know 9's in one of those cells, if that's a 9, it's pointing to a 9 there, but that can't be a 2. So that pair wouldn't work. So blue is not a 9. That is a conclusion. Blue is a 2. Now I'm going to find I have no blues anywhere that are any use. But orange is a 9. We know that. And actually, I think orange is more useful. So orange is a 9. Wow, this is complicated all the time. Now, 9 is now definitely in one of those cells. So it's not in this cell in the box. And therefore, in the row, it is in this cell. And that means purple is a 4. Yes, yes. Oh, my goodness. This puzzle. I mean, these things are sent to try us. Literally, they are sent to try us. That's why they get sent to us. But it is just fascinating to know what they do. So green has become 6. No, what I was going to say is they're sent to try us. And it's painful to go through the agony of not knowing what to do. But when you suddenly then get a little bit of looks in your life, in the umbra, then it is absolutely joyous. Oh, joyous. I know what green and purple are. This must make a difference to this puzzle. One of those is a 4. It must do. I don't know how yet, but it must do. 6 is a 2 there. I just have to keep remembering to number all these rooms. Now, that is the 9-2 pair. And I think, oh yeah, this is a 2. Yeah, so that's not a 2. Okay, good. That's not potentially a 2 or blue. That is blue. Blue is, well, blue 2 is somewhere here. That is not orange 9 anymore, and that's not blue 2, so that is a 1 or a 7 clue. This is a 1 or a 7, pointing to this cell or this one. It does nothing, typical. But I'm sure there are numbered things that I've failed to do so far. So just give me a moment to catch up with what I've just achieved. There's no 9 in these cells because of the orange 9 here. One of these is orange 9. They are a 5-9 pair. One of these is 9 as well. This is a 2-5-9 triple without 2 there. So this is a 1-3 pair. 1 and 3. This is a 2-7 pair that I can fill in. Hello, Sudoku, I like you. This is a 3-8 pair, and the 3s there tell me which way round they go. These are referring to the 1 and either a 2 or a 4. This can't be a 3. That's this lovely black 2 clue. That can't be a 3 because this would have to be a 2 because we'd be looking at that cell. So that's a 1, that's a 3, that's a 1, that's not. This is a 4 up here. I mean, we don't actually have to finish these clues around the grid, but I'm getting quite excited and I would like to do it. So that's a 1 by Sudoku, that was, with a 7 looking down at it. This is a 5-9 pair. One of those is... Why did I have... No, it's not a 5-9 pair. Why did I have a 4 pencil mark? Because it's a 9-4 pair. Now, 7, right, this white 7 clue, 7 is in one of those cells. Oh, by the way, I can fill that in. That is now a 2. saying that in the 9th room here we have a 2. Yes. Now, 7 is either there, in which case 7 would have to be there or there, and it can't be, so 7 is not there. 7 is here, and in this numbered room. And that's a 5, that's a 2, that's a 9. I've finished 2 boxes completely. I'm celebrating everything in this puzzle. That is a 1-7 pair. This is a 3-5-8 triple. Oh, but 3 cannot be on the black dot, so 3 is placed. Huzzah again. That 3 sees this cell and we finish column 1. Those can't be 2s. That's 9. This is a 4-8 pair. Weirdly, I don't know the order. This is a 3-7 pair that I do know the order of. That fixes the 1-7 pair that's been hanging for a long time. 7 is in one of these cells. That's weirdly not helpful. This is a 1-8 pair that I can fill in. That's better. This is a 2-5-9 triple that I cannot fill in at all. Now, that, I can probably do some of these, not that they matter much. That is a 1, because it's pointing at that. One of the, oh, this is not allowed to be a 3, because that would be a 9, and the black dot clue forbids it. Oh, I was worried it was going to pop up here, but when that's a 3, this is a 6, so we're all good there. Okay. Look at these 1s next to each other looking weird. This one is also a 1. This one is 2 or 5. The black dot unfortunately has nothing to say about that. This is looking at either, sorry, one of those 2 cells. So that's a 6 or an 8. We don't know until we sort that pair out. Now there is still probably Sudoku hanging over waiting to be done. And that's great, because I'm confident I can get to that in the end. Or maybe not. It would be very... Oh, this clue I can fill in. That's referring to box 2. This one is... Ah! There we go. Another black clue. This can't be a 7 because it's not allowed to be, but it's looking at that cell. So it's a 1. And that sorts out the 1-7 pair over here. Actually, I should just do a check on coloured cells. Yeah, look, that's orange. I mean, it's not the colouring that I needed, it's just some perspicacity. 9 and 5 there. How are we doing for oranges? Look, there's another 9 that needs to be coloured, and one of those is orange, but we don't know about the central 3 columns at all. Blues, that's blue. Yes, that's got to be blue. It is worth sometimes doing the colouring, it just makes it appear in slightly better contrast. 2 and 8, that sorts out 4 and 8. That lets me colour again. White and get rid of. Okay, so this is now a 3-7 pair. I can do those. That can't be 3 anymore in the middle. This is a 1-4-5 triple. Just want to be careful and not suddenly have a horrible slip at the end, frankly. That is looking at room 3, that's a 2. That's looking at room 4. Don't know what that is yet. We'll get there. This is looking at room 2 or 5. This is looking at room 5 or 9. I can't do any of these. Ah, there's probably still some wrinkle left to go. No, hang on. This is 5 or 8, and that's a pair in this row. Is that right? Yeah, it is. So that's become a 1. This is good old Sudoku. That's now the 3. That is not a 1. This is a 4-5 pair. 4, 3, 6. Come on. 2, 6, 3, 1. 7 is not there. 7 is here. I'm just going to get rid of that colouring because I don't think it's particularly helping. I know I'm going to have to put a 2 in somewhere. 1 is there in the central box. 8 is in one of those 2. That's 2, 5 or 9. I really don't have a clue which. I'm going to pencil mark everything now. That is 5 or 9. And this one, 6, 3, 1, 7, 4. Ooh, lots of possibilities. Okay, so what on earth is going to sort this out? So just over the hour. I'm quite pleased with that. This puzzle has wrecked my head. I'm not finished either yet, because there's something funky going on. I don't know what it is. Because nothing here seems to be useful. I just don't even think these numbered room clues are doing anything, unless this one is. Oh, hang on. There's something going on, is there, in this column with 2589? Is there? I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can see. Oh, that's not blue, by the way. Purple's in one of those as well. Okay, no. Okay, let's think about this column. That is not allowed to be a 2. That's basically the only clue I've got left. So it is 5, 8 or 9. So we're looking at where 5, 8 or 9 gets placed. So if this is a 5, oh, that's lovely. Look at that. If this is a 5, that's a 9 by Sudoku. This digit at the top is being placed in box 9, but the only thing that's left available for box 9 is a 2, and that's the one digit we're not allowed to put in the numbered room clue. So that is not a 5. That is absolute genius, Crusader. You are an absolute epic legend of a person. And that just sorts out the 8s. Why hasn't that? This can't be an 8. It doesn't really matter, but now again, okay, something is impossible again. If this is a 9, that can now be a 5, and that can be a 2. If this is a 5, that can be a 9. So hang on, what? So we either go 5, 9, 2, which seems to be fair, or we go 9, 2, 5. 5, 9, 2, or 9, 2, 5. So this never ends up being a 5. And this never ends up being a 9. And that weirdly means we can place 9 in the bottom row. Is that actually going to resolve this? I don't know if it is, to be honest. Extraordinarily, I may still have something left to do. But there's no other clue I can use. I don't understand. If this is 9, that's a 5 and that's a 2. If this is 5, then that has to be 9. That doesn't work. That's madness. If this is a 5, it's looking at that cell, which is therefore not allowed to be a 2. So if that's a 5, that's a 9. And now you have to ask what becomes of each of those cells. And they end up both being 2s. If that's a 5, this has to be a 2. If that's a 9, this becomes 5 and that becomes 2, and that's a clash. That is incredible. So this can't be a 5. That is an absolutely incredible finish. What an extraordinary puzzle this has been. Absolutely mind-boggling. Oh, I can't believe we've seen this occur. It's such a privilege to get to solve a puzzle like this. It is such an absolute privilege. That must be a 2. And finally, I think more than ever in this puzzle, I have begun to understand the concept of numbered rooms. And I'm not saying I understand it now, and you would say it's laughable that I think I've understood it, but I've got closer than ever before. Now, when I put in the 2, I believe we are finished and correct. Yay, congrats. Thank you for solving. Hope you had fun. I had some fun. Well, I had a lot of fun, but I also had a lot of struggle and anguish. Looks in the umbra, indeed. What a brilliant puzzle. by Crusader175. What a genius. I mean, the puzzle in our app that I'm raving about will not stretch you as much, but it is beautifully laid out and it will impress you if you like Sudoku at all, and of course you do if you've got the app. Anyway, thank you for watching. We'll be back with more tomorrow. Bye for now.